All right, guys, this is our final Learn to Go Pro meeting. So it's been super fun, been going on since April. Oh, how time flies. And I've had a really good time doing it as well. I just want to check, can you guys hear me, see me, everything? I'd love to just, yes. Okay, can you see my screen with Jim and Kathy Coover right here? All right, awesome. So I just wanted to start with this because, if we're really talking about treating this as a profession and, really the Learn to Go Pro book or the Go Pro book that it really inspired me to do this Learn to Go Pro and everything that we've been through from building up from the first training series to discovering our why to our story. Isagenix right now is doing the Back to Basics boot camp too. And we were really already doing this because it really is, there's a certain skill set and it's a basic level that must be mastered upon mastering that. And then we get better and better. And Eric Worre says, about 7 years to become a true professional. And so tonight we're just going to talk about events. We're going to talk about how it's worth the time that we put in. And really personal development kind of end on that. But I wanted to start out with businessfromhome.org. Just really, if you think about what we have with Isagenix and Isagenix being classified as a AAA plus opportunity based on certain figures that are looked at for a home-based business, and for us not to treat this like the stone cold profession that it is, we're shorting ourselves. We would be shorting our family. We'd be, just shorting our why. I mean, truly, I encourage everyone to come here and just read this. Just go to homebusiness.org and really just check out Jim and Kathy Coover. And it's exciting to see how many top earners for the youngness that Isagenix is, right? With how absolutely young it is. But I'm just so grateful for these people. And I had my friend Jamie and Chris and I, and she asked me, kind of what's driving me right now? What's my why? I mean, I could stop building right now. I have so many amazing leaders. My business would still grow. It would max out to the 700,000 a year residual. But the drive for me, and part of it was I want to pay forward what Jim and Kathy have done. I want to pay it forward. And that's really where that belief comes in and why events are so critical. And we're just going to move right into the PowerPoint. We didn't do a PowerPoint for this one. We're just going to really recap on everything. And I have some videos. I'm just going to share some stories. But I just make sure if this is the first one that you're watching or you come here and you're watching this recording, start at the first training. Start at the first training, even if you do this whole one, because again, it's skill set upon skill set. But right now we are on our sixth training, and I really, this is the video that you're watching right now, if you're watching this video, and I really encourage everyone to watch these two videos. In Eric Worre's book, where he talks about, promoting events, and he says, in network marketing, meetings make money. It's just that simple. Yes, technology can help us connect with people in ways that are becoming more and more efficient, but nothing replaces face-to-face interaction. And I truly do believe that when I have been able to sit across from someone, I'm still big on one-on-one meetings. I also know a lot of people say they don't do one-on-one meetings. I did a one-on-one meeting today. There's something about when I can get in front of someone, and that's powerful. And imagine when you have an event and it's just coupled with so many other people that are on that same mission and vision. There's just nothing to me that is more important than to get my team to events. And I'll go blue in the face. I spend a lot of time, and I also do spend a lot of money on buying tickets up front, on booking extra rooms. That is something that I have done because I think about what's my return on investment if I can pack a room full. When Eric Worre said that there's no such thing as a silver bullet in network marketing, but that the closest thing that he could think of was events, that's a clue for me, right? That is an absolute clue. Why would I not invest so much time? So here Eric Worre talks about the difference between someone who kind of doesn't feel like they need to go to the event up into the person who kind of goes, but they're not spending so much time and energy on trying to get people to events, right? A different level than compared to a true ambassador and a promoter of events, right? There's different levels, and really we all want to get to the promoter level. So make sure everybody watch this video right here because it's absolutely epic on being a promoter of events. I also, this gentleman I found on YouTube, and it's like, when you just know something, you know that you know that you know, and it's just that ingrained inside you. At the very beginning of this presentation, we all talked about, in this video right here, I did a belief factor for everyone, and I asked everyone to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10 on kind of where their belief is on the different levels, would be if it's on the product, the industry, the company, the compensation plan, do they know about kind of the history of network marketing, their belief in themselves, and all of those things that really play in. And when you go to an event, that knowing is just going to come, and it's going to surpass even a belief, and you're going to be a stone cold 10, because again, if we kind of believe, people kind of believe us. When we 100% believe, people 100% know that we're speaking with that conviction and getting that belief higher. And your belief in every single area, which is the most important thing you can do for yourself, is have a stone cold belief in this industry, the stone cold belief in Isagenix, which, hello, right here, as a company in the greatest industry, you guys, we are so blessed to have Jim and Kathy, that stone cold belief to sit and see them speak to you, and you feel their heart and you can feel it. That's going to elevate it, and that's what an event will do. So our next event that we have, if you're watching this live right now or keeping up with this series and you're not just doing kind of the recording on here, is Celebration. Celebration is one of the 4 core events. So and as last series, we talked about going to that new associate interview. When someone tells me that they want this business, you guys, I don't stop. I don't stop until I say, look, you wanted this business, you have to get to an event. And honestly, I don't work much one-on-one with anybody if they don't go to events. I cannot take away my time from people who attend core events, because those events do something I cannot do. I cannot instill in them the entire culture of Isagenix that the Isagenix events can do. Super Saturdays are great too. You always be looking for events in your area. So if we go to associate run events, these are going to be your Super Saturday events. Okay. So where corporate's kind of behind it, they might fly somebody out like Dr. Paul Anderson, Dr. Michael Colgan, Bill Andrews, somebody that's on the scientific advisory board to help, right? But then it's really put on by the associates and a lot of top leaders. They have it broken down between like central, they have it broken down between east. So I'm constantly kind of looking this up. And oh, look, here's a super fun one that we're doing, and Jamie Taylor is totally putting on. So rock on, Jamie. But right here, just really think about, am I getting on here and kind of looking to see when Super Saturdays are? Because that's something that you can send yourself, right? Then we have Spanish ones too. Don't short yourself and not be looking at these and kind of having an idea of where your team is located, because these Super Saturdays are events leading up to events. That's what Eric Worre always talks about. The idea behind of an event is to promote the next event. Okay, so definitely that's for that one. Now then we have 2. Let me just do this one. We have what's called Celebration. Now Celebration is a core event right here. Celebration is a core event. So I am booked, right? As soon as I know the date of Celebration a year out, I have my ticket, it's on my calendar, I book a year out for events. University in Action is also another core event. So we have Celebration, we have University in Action, and Isagenix University, which is different than University in Action. They're kind of backwards. But this one is also a core event. So just make sure that you're always looking on here for your core events. And then we have one that's called New Year's Kickoff that is also a core event. So NYKO is already booked, is already listed for us. So is this something on your calendar? And I tell people, if you're not booked right now for the next core event, book right now, send it out, show your commitment. That I have never seen somebody's business grow ever if they don't go to events. It's not that, and I used to do people an injustice, and I used to listen to their excuses as to why they couldn't go. And I would validate those. I would say, oh my gosh, I totally get it. You have kids, you have a job. But then I know what this is and I know what events do. And I say, because you're so sick of that job telling you when you can do something, how long you can do it with, that's paying you nothing, that's not paying you anything what you're deserved, right, of earning, you're not appreciated, you have these kids, like that's why we have to go to the event so that our business can grow and the entire vision can be caught. I've known people that have been in this industry for 2-3 years and their business is stagnant. They go to an event, their business explodes. They hit executive and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that it took me so long to go. So again, it has to be a priority. And I really want to think about this. Tracy O'Malley, and I encourage everyone to read this. This is off of ISA, FYI. And Tracy O'Malley was broken when she came into Isagenix. She had just lost her house. Her marriage fell apart. She just got out of rehab. She had just gotten sober. And her life was really in shambles. And she went to an event, scared to death to get out of her car, but she caught the vision. And so she really went to every single 4 core events every single year for her first 2 years in the company. And I mean, she hit 9-star insanely fast, which is over, it's $1 million a year in residual income. And so lo and behold, she really just talks about the power of it. This is a really great read. If you click on here, it'll take you to a read by Tracy O'Malley, which I encourage everybody. Time for an intervention event, because it's what's going to grow your business. And here's the thing. How can I personally ever ask someone to do what I myself am not willing to do? And if I am not going to events, I'm not setting an example to my team. Do I go to every single 4 core events? No, but am I at an Isagenix university or University in Action at least once a year? Absolutely, I am. My first year, I went to every single core event also. NYKO, have not missed an event. Since then, I flew back early from Australia to go to it. That's the priority level that I had it at. And Celebration, I haven't missed a one. We can't. Here's the thing. If it's the number one thing that we can do for our business growth per every single top earner, not just some, every single top earner, I promise you, if someone says that events aren't that important or your company events aren't important, I assure you without a shadow of a doubt that they are not a top earner at all. So who am I going to listen to? I'm going to listen to the top earners. And just seeing that relatability, seeing other people. Sydney Murphy at our last Super Saturday said it so beautifully. When she went to that event, she saw people like her. It's this thing, and Eric Worre talks about it in his book too, about that almost that social need for just that relatability and that acceptance, and that other people are doing it too, where it's not just 1, 2, 3 or a group of 20 people that you see. You see a large amount of people that are doing this, and you see people who are just like you, and that's going to build your belief a little bit more in yourself and give you that hope, which you cannot put a price on that. This is about, if you really look at this average cost, right? And there's events that people can drive to, especially when you're talking about University in Actions all over the United States and ICUs, okay, that you could even drive to. Generally, if you're not on the West Coast, you are investing also in a plane ticket. But if you look at the average cost of a hotel room, right, $179 per night. Now divide that by 4, because we pack rooms. So I've had 6 people in a hotel room before. I have slept on the floor before to have people at events because they're that important. I will forego sleeping in a bed for 4 nights if that means that people can be at the event and sharing hotel rooms. So now you're talking about when you're doing that, for a 3-night stay, for $179, you're investing less than $100 for yourself, right, for your entire stay, right, when you have a group of people that you're splitting it with, and we can always find that for people. You have your ticket, right? Now, a lot of times ICU and universities will sell out, so $149, but a lot of times you can get tickets a lot cheaper in our Isagenix events page that are $99, sometimes $75. I encourage everyone to be proud to pay the full price though, and to get your ticket up front in case they're sold out. But let's just say that's it, right? That's 13 cycles. 13 cycles. Now, do you think that investing 13 cycles back into your business is worth it for something like a University in Action, right? Think about how much time and money that we've spent in college, right? I know for me especially, how much time and money have I spent in college? So you think about that. I pulled these statistics, right? And let's just say that we're going for state residents. And I don't know, I tried to find, I remember when I went back, this is more so a semester and not per year, but let's say that this is per year. And I imagine it's only gone up since I've been in school because I did go to in-state. I did go to nursing school, so they did have a couple extra fees. But you think about that for a public university, okay, right there at in-state. Now, take that by 4 years, and again, we're saying that that's for the entire year, not even per semester, and that's $40,000. Now, that is tuition. We're not even tackling on cost of living, if people are taking out loans for that, for books. That's just the minimum of $40,000 that someone's investing. If you're doing it with loans, which most people are, now the government owns all of our loans, that is an 8% front-loaded loan. 8%, okay, that is massive interest. So, but we're not willing to invest under $1,500. Let's say that we didn't have anybody to split the rooms with. Let's say that we had to buy a plane ticket, right? This is the absolute most that it would be costing to change our destiny and invest back into our business that has no cap and is just classified as a AAA opportunity to get out of college. And we have these jobs where we're told what to do, when to do, who to do it with. We can't advance. I got a $1.50 raise my entire nursing career, but we're not, and I spent all that money on my college education. How dare me not be willing to invest in myself? And the number one thing that's going to build my belief in every single area that's allowed me to go out on fire. Because in the end, you guys, when you talk about what's ROI, return on investment, you have to think, okay, well, if I invest $1,500 on an event, okay, let's say that I did the max of $1,500 on an event, but what's my return on investment? The return on investment is what I am earning from going to that event, okay? My return on investment from making sure I have enough rooms that I can have for people that are last minute to come in and things like that, right? That right there is, I receive so much on that return. What is the return on investment for me buying extra tickets? That return is, even if I don't charge the full cost of it and I invested some, even if I invested, honestly, $5,000, I mean, it is so worth it from what I learned and how much my business has grown. And after every single event, my business jumps, and it's no secret. This right here is a movie by Bob Proctor, and it's about the law of sacrifice. However, I don't feel like I've ever sacrificed one thing in Isagenix because of what I've gained. To me, when I think about sacrifice, it is about exchanging when you don't receive anything back. But because I have received so much, I don't even feel like that I've truly had to sacrifice something in the person that I've become. But, you know, we seem to think, or people will say, whoa, is this a pyramid scheme or something like that? Well, get rich quick. This isn't that. This is opportunity. We have to get educated. We have to get our skill set. We have to sacrifice and do an exchange, is what I call it more so that way we can have gains in other areas. Okay, so yeah, maybe I have had to sacrifice some time spending with my husband, but you know what the gain is for that? That we're gonna have so much time together and be able to live life how we want on nobody else's terms. And I can take off whenever I want and spend my time with him now, right? When he got back from deployment, I spent however my time I wanted to with him. That is because I had done the work up at the beginning. So just watch this and understand it. And it's a universal law. In order to gain something, we have to do that exchange, and really think about events is not an expense, because it's not an expense. It's a return on investment. You can't classify something as an expense if it's going to pay you more money than what you invested into it. And when you go to the events, and if you're on this training series and you're here at this one and you've been doing all the steps, I assure you, you cannot not go to these events. Also in his book, he talked about, you know, it's worth it. It's worth the time that you put in, and anything worthwhile takes time. And how true is that, right? How absolute true is that? And it's just like this saying, and I want to go over this, and I hope you guys have seen my geometric progression video and you watched that from the third training series, and you took the challenge to get people in front of it and really kind of cast the vision of geometric progression. But here, and it might not be money that drives you. Money really doesn't drive me. Service drives me. People drives me. Now, I do like having a pool and living on the water. That definitely is something money can provide, but it's because of the feeling I get when I'm outside in nature. It's the feeling I get when my body's submerged in water, and I just think about just the miracle that my human body is, right? That the way that the sun hits my skin, right? That's just something that is an exchange for money. So it might not be money that drives you, but what drives me is being able to see the kids that I sponsor. Okay, that drives me. So you have to put that there. The time has to be invested. But I can tell you, I had my highest month in Isagenix when I worked the absolute least, because I had taken some time off from moving, from getting a new house, from my husband getting back from deployment, from family coming into town. I worked the least that I have worked so far in Isagenix, and I had my highest month to date of $57,000. Okay, that is because I have invested so much time in the beginning, so much time. I was working it like I was worth $50,000 before I was making that amount of money. We have to invest that time. I had to fail forward. I had to make a lot of mistakes. I had to look like a fool sometimes, right? Learning things. Put the time in, and then it will show an absolute equal. And then it's quite different than you talk about a salary job, right? This explains it right here. But I think what happens is we think that if we're not a success story overnight, even if it took us 5 years to get success, like, who cares? What else are we going to do with our time, right? Time's going by anyways. Like, do we want to stay in that dead-end job, or do we want to stay, like, unfulfilled? No, we don't. 5, 10 years, who cares? Like, just the people that we're becoming, the community that we're a part of. But looking at day 15, if you would have taken $1 million, right? I'm sorry, the penny and not the $1 million, because this question, $1 million or a penny that doubles, but only for 30 days. Well, that penny that doubles, but only for 30 days, it doubles itself, comes to over $5 million. The exact same math that is happening in this happens throughout our organization between our left leg and our right leg with, just the geometric progression. But on day 15, we feel foolish. We feel like we're an idiot. We should have taken that $1 million. Like, we're only at $163 and half the month is over. But you got that's the time thing. That's the and the skill set has to be learned. Why in this business do people feel like that they can come in and get rich quick, or that it should be easy, but yet, that doesn't happen in any other business model? This is a business. This is a stone cold business. This is a AAA business opportunity. Are we treating it like that? I love this CD, because it really does talk about the seed and the sower. And I have people now just joining me that I spoke to 3 years ago. I'm always planting seeds. I'm always networking, and just to really understand that wages suck and profits are amazing. Profits are better than wages, right? And this is a great CD, Building Your Business by Jim Rohn, one of the absolute greats. So listen to this CD and absolutely understand it, because it truly is amazing. And just know that every single seed is important, and we're going to water them. We're going to, put amazing fertilizer on it. But the most important seeds that we can be sowing are our thoughts, are the seeds that we're planting into our head. Like, what do we plant in our brain garden? Are we planting weeds? Because weeds are going to grow. So are we planting those negative weed-like thoughts, or are we planting thoughts of abundance, of growth, of getting better? Because I promise you, whatever we're planting and whatever we're focusing on, that's going to be what sprouts. Why would we expect anything different, right? If I go out and plant weeds, or if I go out and plant tomatoes, I'm going to get whichever one I plant, right? So make sure that we're paying attention to that. So there's a book called Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell, one of my absolute favorite books. It's an absolute must read. I know that there's a book club right now that's going on that Belinda and Chris are doing, which is absolutely awesome. And it's really we have to understand universal law. And he really talks about personal development in here, right? Because oftentimes in network marketing, it talks to about, this is just personal development with a compensation plan attached to it. Because when we step into a ton of personal development and we really take ourselves out of the picture, it's not even as much about us as it is, really changing lives. Network marketing is not about getting rich. Network marketing is about changing people's lives. And I promise you, every single professional, that is going to be a driving factor, is to change lives. But we have to change our lives so we can change other people's lives too, right? We can't just focus solely on just nothing but changing other people's lives without changing our own life to where we give and give and give. So it's also that balance of filling ourselves up, right? And spending time on ourselves. That's the best way to bless other people too. But that'll become your driving factor. If you've never seen these videos that Bob Proctor uses that incorporate the book, Raymond Hollowell, Working with the Law, The 11 Forgotten Laws is also his book. I just highly encourage every single person to go through it. And there will be a duplication because this is the law of sacrifice, which is how it really relates to ROI. But definitely take the time to go through this and really think about what he is saying. Think about it. And it is, you guys, it's the people we become, the relationships we have, the places that we're going to get to go that fill us up. I mean, this is what it's all about. And then I just listed a lot of my favorite books. This book right here, How to Build MLM Leaders. I don't feel like Isagenix is MLM. I feel like it's a networking because we don't have levels, but that is the name of the book. And this book changed my life. You'll hear me say that about a lot of books. But this book changed my life because it allowed me to know where to put my focus. It allowed me to know when I'm working with someone, it kind of like, how I talked about last week, kind of like that 3 strikes kind of thing. I have people who are all in, who show up, who are committed, who go to the events, who do the things, who are reading the books, they're working on themselves, right? Can we do everything? No, absolutely we can't, because there's tons of things out there, right? But who are just beyond coachable, and they're taking all those steps. And I was limiting my time with them because I was trying to I was spreading myself so thin, trying to work with everybody, right? Looking more so at quantity of people instead of quality of people. That will hinder your business in a sense, at least it was mine, because those people weren't ready yet to be my all-in people. This book helped me decide who it is that I'm going to laser focus on. So I encourage everyone to read these books when you really think about working with people in your downline and who is truly someone. And people are going to go at different paces. It's not necessarily the person that's going the fastest. It's not that. It's the person willing to work on themselves the hardest and that shows up for themselves. All right, so here's the book that I was just talking about that goes with those Bob Proctor videos. Then we have Manifesting Change. It couldn't be easier. This really allowed me to release the how and to not worry about perfection. When we release the how, everything can happen. Like, how am I gonna get leads? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? It's just about taking action and just knowing that the how will present itself. And so this book definitely blessed me. The Have It All Woman by Susan Sly. Even if you're a man, I encourage you just to replace man with woman and read this book. It is absolutely epic. And she taught me in this book early on how to set myself up for success, from things as far as with even my bank accounts, how I should have that set up, what I should be looking for, the kind of people that would be on my team that I would be working with, not necessarily in my Isagenix team, but in my life, as far as people that really help me manage things like a good accountant, and things like that. Master Key Systems, pretty deep, but it's a great book. And it just really talks about our thoughts and being able to focus our thoughts. The number one skill set that anybody can do to be successful in life is controlling your thoughts. And majority of us don't control any of our thoughts in this world. I would say probably maybe about max 5% of people control their thoughts. The rest of the population, I think Think and Grow Rich, they say it's only 2% actually think. And 3% of people think they think, and then the 95% would rather die than think. And I think that's from The Strangest Secret. But this is something that will really take you on. There's a process to think correctly. And are we just kind of at the will of our erroneous thoughts that come into us? So this is a really great book on that. The Greatest Salesman in the World is powerful, and it brings me back to love. And there's a scroll in here, and I read this scroll. It's only about 4 pages. It's a very, very tiny book. And I read it every single day for 30 days, 3 times a day. And it's scroll number 2, and it's all about love. And Cindy Murphy read that also. And it just talks about, I greet this day with love in my heart. And so when I'm speaking to someone, or I'm talking like, what makes the greatest salesman in the world? Somebody who loves the most. Love is the most powerful thing in the world. And this book and that scroll, even if you don't read the book, but you do scroll number 2, you could actually Google it, The Strangest Secret by Og Mandino, and Google it and just print it out. And I actually had it just printed out on that and kept it with me instead of keeping the book with me all the time. But it's a really tiny book too. It literally could fit in your back pocket. Filling is the Secret is an absolute must. Just really talks about how our subconscious mind really is in control of everything. And then with love being the highest form of attraction in the universe, I didn't love myself that much. And here I was trying to build this team of love and of support. And I didn't have self-love for myself. I was beyond critical and judgmental of myself. I was in comparison mode 24/7. It's just, there had to be that stepping in to loving myself and falling in love with me. And I'm sure I'm still more critical of myself than anybody else out there. But there's a time when we step back into it, and these are just books that have really assisted me with falling back in love with myself. And then if you're someone, and this is extremely overwhelming, mind you, all these books it's been a 3.5-year process. I didn't just pick up all these books immediately and read them. So don't feel like, okay, I have to get every single one of these books and read them right now, which is based on kind of where you are and where you rated yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 and your belief and kind of, where you are with all that. But you can always get books on Audible and listen to them. And we downloaded that app at the very beginning. So you can always just come click that here and then type in any one of those books that we talked about, and you can get the Audible books too. So you just come in here and type them in and then just click the Audible version. It's an Amazon company. So just it's one day at a time. Anything worthwhile takes time. Think about college or school, right? How many things were we studying? How many courses did I have at once? I know I would take 6 different classes at once in college, right? 20 credits sometimes. I mean, that's a ton. Labs, clinicals. I mean, it was an investment, right? And I got out and I was earning $40,000 working, 46 hours a week doing overtime. And I was earning $40,000 a year. So, you think about that, and to be able to have invested in under 4 years and reading these books, applying this skill set and getting over to $40,000 a month, like, it's worth it. It's just the time has to be put in. And just like how we talked about last week, letting other people know that that's the kind of time that it takes too. But I would just love to answer any questions that anybody has. You can always connect with me right here. Here's my little page. I'm close to maxed out on my friend list. So, I do use it to build a business. So this is just a page that I started. So you can like the page, message me, come here. It'll just bring you to my page, and you can easily just message me on there also. So that's how you can, anybody that wants to get in touch with me, you can absolutely do it that way too. So, but I would love to know. I'm gonna unmute everyone so they can unmute themselves. I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. If you have a question, just unmute yourself, or if you want to say anything, or in the chat button, I'll pull that up, and just let me know if you want to say anything or anything like that. I see 2 in the chat. I see some hellos. Does anybody have any questions or anything like that? Just feel free to unmute yourself. All right. Well, that means I always say when there's no questions, it just means I've done an absolute phenomenal job. And I see my just such sweet friends smiling. I love it. All right. Is everybody on this call? Is anybody, let me rephrase that, is anybody not registered for a core event coming up within the next 6 months? All right. I like to see. Registered for events. All right, guys. Well, I will stop the recording. I'll get this out there. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. It was just about events. It's time for an intervention. Let us not forget that, because they're everything. It's not something. It's get to the event. Put the challenge out to yourself right now to bring one extra person to the event with you. One extra person, just one. And I'm telling you, that's how it starts. My first event, I think about Wendy Jarvis. Wendy Jarvis at that event for me has led into over 6,000 people being in my organization because Wendy Jarvis came to that one event. Okay. And if I hadn't have asked her to come, if I hadn't have said, hey, yeah, let's come, give her the information, you never know if you don't try. And some people are going to say no. It's okay. Just you got to put it out there. You have to be a promoter. Like in that video, Eric Worre, you have to promote it. You can unmute, Chris.
Yeah, I've kind of heard your story, but if you could can you go into a little bit more detail about Wendy Jarvis when you talk about that? Because I think, at least for me, I've experienced a little bit of what meeting that right person. It's magical when the right person shows up in your organization. Your business literally it changes overnight. I've heard you mention Wendy Jarvis. I know who she is. Can you be a little more specific about that story, how you met her?
Sure. I met Wendy on Facebook. I had posted a before and after photo. I don't know how even she saw it, by the grace of God. And she had liked it, and I messaged her. And that's really how it all started. We were complete strangers. She got on the products. She had a great product experience. I asked her if she was open to sharing it since she loved it so much, and if she wanted to sell it, right? I used that word. And I used the word business and sells, and she put me in her phone as do not answer. So I was in her phone as do not answer. And she couldn't believe I had the audacity to ask her to sell something, right? But lo and behold, we still stayed in contact. I was still coaching her, but she would text me back, but she wouldn't answer my calls. And I definitely did not follow my coaching advice that I gave last time about letting people just fall in love with the product for a while and continuing until you really, are business minded. So that's definitely something that I do differently now, but it still worked out. And so one day her son saw her and was just incredibly shocked at her results. And he said, Mom, I can't believe you're not, are you helping people do this also? And so that was kind of a realization for her. And what I had done is I had screenshotted to her the amount of people that she had in her organization from me building above her and her banked volume. And I said, I would love to be able to, if you're still using the product, if you ever want to know how it can turn into cash and how these points convert, please let me know. I then, because of her son, she said that she would think about it and talk to her husband. And then I did. She was willing to speak to me at that point, and I got her to watch a Sunday night webinar done by Chris Harder's team on the business and the tree, that Sunday night business training that was done. It was being done back then too. And she got onto that. And I just started the event. Jennifer Trinkner told me that, that I needed to get people at events. Don't come back to an event by yourself. Bring people. My first event I went to, I didn't have anybody. So Wendy Jarvis came in, and that led to Cindy Murphy, who's on here, that also was not going to sell these products. Don't talk to me about that. And then Cindy came in. I did not have a large network, but Wendy had a great product transformation. She did have a larger network than me. People saw her struggle for a long time. So that's really the story of how it came. And so, I I moved in with Wendy. I moved in with her for over a month, and we just did event after event after event after an event, because that was somebody, who was willing to do that. Now, a lot of people might not have that luxury. But I mean, with Zoom and the way things are done now, we can do event after event. So Cindy came in, had an incredible product transformation that led, to her bringing in people and her being Wendy's one person that changed her business, and just the progression has continued through people on that line. Majority of my executives, all but like 2 are from that line of Wendy Jarvis. And if I had not put it out there, she saw the vision at Isagenix University. She saw it, and that is why she decided to have events at her house, right? She was willing to watch the opportunity presentation. She saw that. She was willing to get a little bit more educated. And I really made it about learning more about the product. She was really passionate about the product, seeing how you can help more people about the product, right? More so than even a business. I really made it about the product for her, because that's where her passion was. And yeah, Wendy Jarvis came in and she changed my organization. It's from people of people. And, some people that she's introduced that then introduce other people that don't even do this business anymore. But it's just that power of one. And I always tell people we are 1 to 2 conversations away, one on our left, one on our right, from changing our destiny. And so every single time we're out and about and we have that one conversation and we make that new connection, that could be the one that we're changing that person's life, right? Wendy's life is changed. That's why my life is changed by Wendy, because we've been able to change her life. She's home with her son. She's gonna be able to bring her husband home. She doesn't have to work anymore. Her life is changed, thus my life has changed. But it was about me changing her life, me focusing more on her paychecks than me focusing on mine, me focusing on Cindy's paycheck than me worrying about mine and my cycles, right? Like seeing like, what are they cycling? That's the progression of it. But one conversation away from changing our business. So it's how many a day are we having? The other night on my team call, I did a thing about if you put a box up on your notebook and you have it on there, and every single day you track how many times has the story been told, how many times have I told the story today, how many new connections did I make, and keep track of that for 30 days, 10 digits a day keeps double-digit checks coming your way, right? 1 or 2 people a day, that's going to be a reflection of what we're seeing. So how active are we getting? And then again, the events, just promoting those events. Cindy Murphy showing something right there. I hope that's all her contacts today. Love it, girl. Hold on, let me unmute Miss Murphy. What she saying, Murphy? What's she saying?
That's this month.
That's this month.
At the end of every month, I have that page at the end of the month of the planner. At the beginning of the month, I write down everybody that I've contacted, everybody, how I talked to them, if they responded, if they didn't respond. And then when I go into the next month, I put who I'm going to contact based on that. And then I just keep going down my list.
That's it. A system. And it just adds up. And then you get that one person that has that spark that you can lock arms with, and they'll eventually bring in one person. It's just if you can, over time, can we educate 2 people on our left and 2 people on our right who truly understand this? And it happens. That geometric progression will happen, but you do have to enroll. Tracy O'Malley said something about out of every 40 product users that you have, you'll have 1 golden builder in there. So if you think about that, in the time, but you're looking for, a few key on the left and a few on the right. So. And then something that I want to say too, you don't have to be the personally enrolling sponsor to work with people. Never underestimate the law of attraction. Absolutely, Miss Chris, and no doubt about it. You guys, that's everything right there. And that's why the 11 unforgotten laws, really understanding the law of attraction, deserves to be the thing that we spend our time on. But it really, I totally just lost my train of thought, what I was going to say next from that law of attraction. So I was thinking yeah, absolutely. Your PE, right? Your personally enrolled people. They don't have to be your personally enrolled for you to mentor them. They don't. You know, if they're not have somebody that's brought them in, that's really, I recruit in my personal downline all the time for business, people that have come in that are using the products, that have been in for a while, that are stable product users. I reach out to them. I've seen that they've been enrolled by somebody that's may have dropped off, or they have no interest in the business. They're not talking to anybody probably about the business. They're just passionate about sharing these products, right? I go in and I kind of get to know just people throughout my organization, especially when they have bank volume, they're on a team leg. That's something that I can bring to them. So, you know, never underestimate that, to go in and really look through your tree. And even if my sponsor has brought people into my downline, I will see how I can help them also. Just because, I mean, 6% to infinity to 702,000 with an executive match of 702,000, that excites me. So I don't care who the heck's brought them in, right? I'm going to work with them like I PE'd them. So that's also a really great tip. Just never underestimate working and kind of looking throughout your entire downline, because you know, those, and some of my very best friends are people that I have found that way searching. So. Any other questions? But I agree, never underestimate the law of attraction. That's the number one thing we can do, is master that. Absolutely. All right, events. Personal development, and just being patient with the time and willing to grow. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining the last one, but there's so many things coming up. I know that there's so many teams doing trainings and Zooms and all that. And again, just Isagenix doing the Back to Basics boot camp too. We were definitely on to something. We were a step ahead. So you guys, you're so welcome. You guys have a great night, and I'll get these recordings up in the group. So let's just go pro and just keep mastering the skill sets. And
Love you, girl.
Love you too. The challenge, one more person to the event, and that was coming to you with you, right? One more person, just one more. Because the power of that event, as many as possible, but let's set the goal for at least one more. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great night.
Night.
Love you.